Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video here at the channel. In today's video, we're going to jump into DaVinci Resolve 20 and have a look at the new multi-text tool, which is a really awesome text tool in DaVinci Resolve. Well, instead of me yapping about it, let's just jump into DaVinci Resolve and let's get started.
Okay, so let's get right to it. Let's have a look at the multi-text. So first up, we're going to use this clip here and do the multi-text on. And the multi-text can be found under titles, and it's right here, multi-text, and I'm going to drag that down on my clip here. So the cool thing about multi-text is we can select the clip and we'll go into the inspector, and we now have the ability to do different types of text. So of course, I would like to do one text here, my name on, and then I'm going to stylize everything afterwards. And I'll just put in another text. I'm going to put in another text, but this time I want to do this curved one. And I'll write like that. And then I want to do one last text, and this last text, I'm going to make that into a box style text. So I'm going to push that one. It's super cool for legals and stuff like that. So I'm going to start out with that because now we just have a lot of text on the entire screen. Of course, we could just go over here and then we could click these links off because it's actually putting in the text in layers. So we're going to start out by making this box one. So if you see this lock here, it's because the layers is locked. It's not always like that, but in this case it is. So I'm just going to click on that. So we're going to open this up so we can go in and change, for instance, the size of the text. Like we want it to be like this small text here. And I could go in and change the font, and I'm just going to do this Rockwell font here. And of course I could change the color. And in this case, I'm just going to click here on this dropper icon, and I'm going to steal the color from the package like that. I'm going to say, okay. And then I'll go into the layout, and in the layout, I will just move this around a bit like so. Also, I could actually change the size a little. I'll go into the layout, and in the layout, I'm going to move it to space. Then I'll go into shading, and I'm just going to put in a shadow so it's more readable, a little more readable. Okay, go back to text. So I'll go into the line spacing, and I'm just going to make it a little like that. And I'm going to make it way smaller because it's a legal thing, so it shouldn't be too obvious. And then I could change the paragraph as well, so it looks like this. I think that's cool. And then I can move it around, put it for now here. So I'm going to go into this is going to be the first one. So I'm going to my title here. So I'm going to go into this, and I'm going to size this up quite a bit, something like that. Again, let's change the color. And I'm just going to steal that from the package yet again, like so. And then I will go into the layout. Actually, I'll change the font to Rockwell as well, like that. And I'll go into the shading. And I'm going to add in a drop shadow. Go back to the layout. And I'm going to like move it a little. Actually, I'm going to size it down a little bit. Maybe something like that. Let's put it around here, and then I'll quickly go around to the text here. And I'm also going to make that look something like that. Looks cool. Then I'm going to go to the next line. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. Select the line, go into the text, push the color, steal a color from the box, put that on, change the font to Rockwell, and then again, put in a drop shadow. Going back to the layout, changing the size, and then, I can move it around, make it fit somewhere, something like that. And I might want to go back to the shading, back to the shadows, and maybe I am going to position that a little bit different. Something like that. Maybe change the softness a bit. Something like that. And then we're going to go for the last text here, which is this rounded text. And we are going to do more or less the same thing. Of course, change the color. Again, steal it from the box. Change this into Rockwell. I seem to like Rockwell for this kind of thing here. Then I'm going to add in the shading, and I'm going to add in the shadow again. And then let's just go back to the layout, because I want to size this down quite a bit, and I can change the width of it so it's not that round. So again, going to size that down, and let's move this somewhere in place. And then, I could go into the text and I would go into the tracking, because we could make it a little less like that again. And I'm going to size that down a little bit. Something like that looks cool, I think. I'll go into the layout and I'm just going to position this where I want it. So something like this. And then I would like just to remove everything of it. So I'll just go to the settings and I'm going to move this a little in and a little up. So now I have this kind of text here. So the cool thing about this is you could actually animate the text as well. I know that this is how I want it to look for the majority of the clip, and I'm going to make it fit the entire clip. So let's see. When it's around here, I want the text to be like it is here. So I'm going to go into my title and I'm going to go to the action figure, and I'm just going to put a keyframe into the center like that. Then I'll go into the action figure. Or actually, we'll just do them one at a time, I think. So I'll go into this and I'm in the center. I'm going to put keyframes in the center of all of my texts. And by the way, you can add more text than I did. You can add how many text you want, but for this little thing, I have 4. So that's just the way it is. So let's go into this Klaus one. So I'm going to go a little bit back in time, like here. And since I am on the Klaus layer, and I did do a keyframe, I want this text to be out here, like that. So when we run this, we're going to have the text coming in like that. Okay, that's my first text. So at the same time, I want the Filmmaker to do the exact same thing. So I'll go into the Filmmaker. I'm going to move this out of frame like so. So now we have that, which is cool. And then I want this rounded text in top to do some kind of a movement. Again, I have put in the position, so I want it to be here. So I'll go into the rotation, and in the Z axis, I could do something like kind of a movement. So let's do that. So I'm going to put a keyframe here. And I'm also going to put a keyframe in the Z. And then I'll just go a little back. Then I'll just make it roll in like that, something like that. Okay. So, however, I want this text to disappear, of course. So I don't want it to be, I want it to be visible around here just when it does this small movement. So the way you could do that, because you don't have really a way you could do that by just letting it be like transparent or anything like that. So if you go into the merge, you have an alpha gain. And, I can put that all the way down and it's going to take the color. It's going to make it to an alpha channel, basically. And then I have this option right here where I can just put that all the way down. It's going to disappear. So I'm going to put that on here. And we're just going to go like a couple of frames forward. Going to turn that all the way up. Like such, or like so. If I want this layer to be behind, I can simply just take the layer and just drag it down underneath the Klaus layer. So this will be the layer behind. So the last thing to do is I would want to take this entire action figure text here, and I want that to just come in like here. And the way I would do that again in the merge using the same method as before. So I'm just going to put these two down and I'm going to put keyframes in, and then let's go a little like that. And then we're finally going to have our text coming in here, our legal stuff. So that's basically how we can use text into this little thing here. And then I want to do a little small thing because now I'm just having fun. So I also want to do this ribbon effect here with the text coming in here. something like that. So let's just put in another text. Go in. So we're going to have this batteries not included text. Again, I am going to change the color of the ribbon to the color of my package, something like that. And I think that is good. So I'm going to select this and I'm just going to go into the settings and I'm going to zoom this down. And if I click on this icon here, I can change stuff around. I'm going to make it like from the side. It doesn't have to be very big actually, something like that. So I kind of want to have this coming in from the side and then just disappearing. And I'm just going to just a little bit so we are not going to see the corners, something like that. And then just to blend it in, I might as well just go into the effects, or the open effects. I'm just going to search for a drop shadow and I'm going to take that and put that on top of everything. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a drop shadow. And you could play around with this and make it look cooler or stuff like that. But this is kind of fun. One last thing, because I would like to add in some more texture, is to let's go into the media pool. And I just want to add this old VHS overlay. I have a bunch of those, by the way. So you can just go to the store and get the free ones or the paid ones. It doesn't matter. If you need like VHS overlays, you can pick mine up, the free or the paid one. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to give this a little bit of texture. So let's just quickly cut this. And I'm going to select the top layer. I'll go into the inspector and into the composite mode. And I'm just going to change this into screen. So now we have this VHS effect look. And of course, we could just dial that down just a little bit to like 65%, something like that. And then we kind of have our text coming in from the side. So that is how you could work with the new multi-text, which I think is kind of cool. And you can make some pretty cool text things very fast in the editing page instead of going into Fusion and doing them right there. Anyway, I do hope you found this little video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share it with your friends if you think it would help them out. And if you want to be notified every time there is another video here at the channel, please hit that bell icon down in the corner. Until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.